Dude screamed to me the other night, "Hey, Will, I want to be an actor, man. I want to be an actor just like you." You know, usually people say stuff to me like that. But I was just sitting in here thinking, and it dawned on me, 99% of people that say stuff like that are not willing to do what it takes to make their dreams come true. The Marines have a saying, everybody wants to go to heaven, but nobody wants to die. And that's just real. At the center of bringing any dream into fruition is self-discipline. The world wants to fight you, and the world's trying to hold you down. So you're going to kick yourself in the balls? So you're going to stop yourself from getting what you dream. Self-discipline is the center of all materials.
In 2009, when the mixtape, and there was a period where I think around that time you were kind of like, you know, is this something that's going to work for me or not? What is it that got you through?
It was hard work. It was discipline. It was knowing that if this doesn't work out, then I will have to get a 9 to 5. And I don't want to do that. I really don't want to do that. I had always wanted to get sober. I could never get sober. I couldn't make music while I was under the influence of drugs or alcohol. Finally got sober in 2008, got out of rehab, and was like, all right, this is it. I've wasted years of my life. And if this is going to work, it has to work now. There's no alternative. And I met somebody that had the same dedication as me, that put everything into the music, everything into the craft, and didn't go out. I wanted a career, and Ryan was somebody that had the same discipline and sacrificed everything.
I was an executive with a nice salary, annual bonuses and stock options, all the perks. Everything was on track. And on Monday at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, in a small conference room on the top floor of our building, the president of the company wanted to have a quick meeting with me, which wasn't unusual since he was my boss. But the meeting turned out to be even more brief than expected. He fired me. And I'll never forget how his words just sucked the breath right out of me. What I now realize is while that event created the greatest amount of discomfort I had ever felt, it was that discomfort, the departure from my ordered life, that forever changed it for the better. You see, friends, what makes you comfortable can ruin you. And what makes you uncomfortable is the only way to grow.
You know, you can either be someone that allows the environment to like dictate how you feel or what you do, or you make your own fucking way. Well, either find a way or make a way. You gotta make your own way. The world doesn't happen to you. You create your own world. Shit's gonna go wrong all the time, but you can have two paths. The paths of all the reasons why I can't get what I want, or a path of results where I get exactly what I fucking want and won't stop till I do. That's the bottom line.
One of the critics, actually, that I once met said, yeah, Tony's techniques, they were great for about a year and a half, and then they wore off. What do you say to that, folks?
It's real simple. If you don't work out, you don't get a muscle, right? So I always tell people, there's a daily practice like priming. If you don't do that, if you get up and you just have no discipline whatsoever, you get no value of anything. You know, diets don't work when you don't do them. Exercise doesn't work when you don't do them. But most of the people have some experiences that they want to shift. And once you shift those things, your whole life changes. But life is constant growth. My life isn't here because I went to one seminar one time and now my life is fit for life. I work out, I train my mind, I train my body, and it becomes a lifestyle. It's not just like you're depending upon somebody else. I'm not here to become somebody's guru. I'm not here to give them a gift. I'm here for them to open up their own gifts. And that's really what my work has been.
If you want to be successful, here's the thing you have to do. You have to jump. There is no way around it. You have to jump. Every successful person has jumped. You got to take a leap of faith. You got to dash off that cliff, and you got to jump out there as far as you can. Now, here's the problem. When you jump, I can assure you one thing. I promise you this. Your parachute will not open right away. That's the fear part. You're going to hit them sides and them rocks. You're going to tear your back out on them cliff. You're going to cut yourself. You're going to get wounded. You're going to get some tears and stuff like that. But eventually, the parachute will open and you'll be sober. But here's the other caveat. Let me teach you this right here. If you do not jump, I promise you one thing. Your parachute will never open.
When people say, oh, I want to be like you, I want to be an actor, I want to look like you, the question I always ask them is why? Like, really, why? And people, and especially America, this idea of fame, that to be famous means that you're successful, that you're happy. It's not about, I don't do what I do because I want to be famous. That's part of, being famous is my job. I am not, when I'm home, I am not, and I'm with my family and my friends, I am not famous. I am me, and I'm Cameron, and fame does not define me. And so if you are looking for fame to define you, then you will never be happy, and you will always be searching for happiness, and you will never find it in fame. Fulfillment comes from within you by being authentic to yourself, not chasing fame.
I've never met a person who was not successful that didn't have a great amount of self-discipline within their life. Self-discipline and being able to perform and being able to keep your life on schedule and being able to keep commitments and promises and meet deadlines is essential to success. None of us can afford to have a life that is controlled by someone else, or a life that is basically controlled by our emotions. I learned many years ago that there are two kinds of people. There's the type of person who says, I'm going to wait till I feel like it before I do it. And then there's a person who says, I've got to do it so that I feel like it. One will never get anything done because they're still waiting to feel the moment to move. And the other person says, no, I need to move, and then I will begin to feel the moment.
Going on perhaps a decade of running simultaneously two global companies, how do you get the stamina to keep going and to stay fit, personally and mentally and physically?
It requires a lot of discipline. I mean, obviously, because you're going to move from one world to the other, from one culture to the other, from to completely different company, you have jet lags, organization. People are expecting you when you come down from a plane after 14 hours flight to be fresh and ready for them. They're not expecting a CEO to come and say, oh my God, he's jet lag, he cannot answer a question. They want you to be on the go all the time. So this requires a lot of discipline. You have to organize yourself. If you know you're going to do this job and you accept the job, you have to organize yourself in order to do it. It's tough, but there is a solution. There is a solution for it. But it requires a lot of choices, personal choices. There are a lot of things you cannot do. There are a lot of things you can do, but you're going to do them within a certain order, but particularly with a lot of this.
Martin Luther King grew up to be a great man, of course, but things weren't all that great in the world while he was growing up. Not everybody was treated like they were somebody, and I believe that you should treat everybody like it's their birthday, but they didn't do that. People looked at the color of their skin, and that's how they decided if they were friends or not. Not cool, man. Now I gotta tell you something. When things aren't awesome, it can be tough. And things won't always be awesome, but your response can be. Martin Luther King's response? It was awesome. Today I just wanted us to think about this. Isn't it cool that we can change things? Like any of us, anybody. He dreamed and he changed things. And he dreamed and he kept sharing his dreams. They became not just his dream, a lot of people's dream. Like this one. I have a dream that little black boys and black girls will join hands with white boys and white girls and become sisters and brothers. That's a pretty good dream. Let's dream like that. That could change things.
Don't try to chase what is kind of the hot passion of the day.
So just go and do it, try, learn from it. You'll fail at some things. That's a learning experience that you need so that you can take that on to the next experience. And don't let people who you may respect and who you believe know what they're talking about, don't let them tell you it can't be done. Because often they will tell you it can't be done. It's just because they don't have the courage to try.
I think people that look for great ideas to make money aren't nearly as successful as those who say, okay, what do I really love to do? What am I excited about?
If you know exactly what you want to be, you need to spend as much time with people that are actually that already.
You have to have an emotional investment in what you're doing. If you don't love what you're doing, failure is pretty much guaranteed. Success is not guaranteed by any means, but failure is much more likely if you don't love what you're doing.
Naturally, nobody who is interested in your idea. The world can care less. You have to persuade them, and you have to show that you're the one person out there that can do it.
Don't think about how do I get big fast. That will happen if you actually build something super meaningful and super important.
absolutely nothing special about her acting. She's not particularly attractive. I can't stand her. She's mediocre. She's over 40. Yeah, and normally this would take me down for about 30 minutes, but at the same time I was in the blogosphere, I was also watching movies. Lots and lots and lots of movies. I was watching fabulous women who may also or may not be over 40, giving groundbreaking performances and breaking my heart. I was watching beautiful stories about people struggling in everyday life in a world that they don't think they belong in. And I was also watching heartbreaking stories about our past in this country that made me so proud, because they will one day help me show my son how far we've come and how people have suffered so that there can be a better life for everyone.
I try to keep life simple. Do you realize there are only 7 colors of the rainbow? Only 7. Look what Michelangelo did with those 7 colors. There's only 7 musical notes. Look what Beethoven did with those 7 notes. There's only 10 numbers. Look what Bernie Madoff did with those 10 numbers. The point I make is it doesn't have to be complicated. So you need 4 things in your life. If you don't have any of these 4 things in your life, you're going to have a tremendous void. See, everybody needs something to do. Number 2, everybody needs someone to love. Number 3, everybody needs someone to believe in. In my case, is Jesus Christ, our Lord and Savior. But the 4th thing you need in your life is you need something to hope for.